I've had so many encounters with police, it's not even funny. I hold the dual distinction of having the Director's Award from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms for outstanding work in the service of law enforcement. But I have been pulled over driving while black. I've been arrested twice because I was black. It's just a normal, everyday thing. I think the thing that people don't understand is it doesn't matter how high up in society you may get. The minute the lights and sirens come on, you realize that you are still a black man. And that's the part that's not fair. That's the part that's wrong. I have seen how white people were treated when police pulled them over. I remember my first news director in television. He got pulled over for drunk driving. They took him to Howard Johnson's and bought him coffee. Then he stood up on the table in the middle of the restaurant and started screaming, "You call this justice? If it had been him, we'd have hauled him off to jail." And I looked at him like, "Shut up," because I'm here. They will haul me off to jail. So there is a difference in the way that black people are treated by police and the way that white people are treated by police and the way that television people are treated by police. And I've lived all those lives only to know that the system as it exists now is not fair and has to be addressed. Justice has to be blind, and not just blind, but colorblind.
My experience with police in Cameroon has been phenomenal. Police in Cameroon, you know them. They're your neighbor. They're your uncle. Even the ones that are considered the rotten apples, their intent is not to kill you. Now, granted, I grew up in a very community-oriented environment where if you do something wrong, your cousins are gonna get you before your father gets you. Your uncle's gonna get you before your father gets you. If the police happen to get you, they will treat you in a way that your family would treat you. It's not in a hatred manner, even if it does stand from a place of malice. Their intent is not to kill you. Their intent is not to, take you away from this earth or do anything that's gonna cause you to be dead. My encounters with police here I've always been treated with a sense of fear. When they encounter me, they see me as a threat automatically. So before they assume that I could be a good person, that I could be someone that has some morals, they assume that I'm going to harm them. They assume that I have a gun on me. They assume that I have drugs on me automatically. I don't know if it stems from the training or if it stems from their personal, I don't know, the way they were brought up. If it stems from a place of racism that they just have in them, if it's systematic, I don't know. But my experience overall has been very different. Here it's, watch this guy. He might be up to something. In Cameroon is, okay, whatever he did, we're going to take care of it, and then you'll be okay after that. Go on about your business after that. You know what I mean?
I've had several instances where I've been pulled over. It's not one cop, it'll be the first cop, and maybe the first cop is cool. Maybe the first cop is like, oh, okay, they might just be a misunderstanding here. Let me just check your license and registration, and you're good. But then the second cop comes up. And then the third cop car comes up. And it's like these guys are looking for something to happen. And then the second cop, he comes out in his cop car, he slams the door, his hands on the hip. You already see, because I grew up around weapons, so I know when someone has ill intent with a weapon, when their clip is off. You know how there's on holsters, there's a safety clip that's on it. His clip was off and his hand was on his handgun. And he walks up like RoboCop, just this fierce, this like, I'm ready for something to go off. When the guy pulling me over, he's not pulling me over because I ran a stoplight. He's not pulling me over because I'm speeding. He's pulling me over because my car fits a certain description. Turns out my car wasn't even the description that they was looking for. It's just so I had a hatchback. They was looking for a hatchback, but my car was white, their car was silver. I've talked about these experiences with other people and just to see the difference, especially people of other cultures. They've never had a cop wave a gun at them before, or never seen a cop come in a situation that's supposed to be, a traffic stop or anything, and felt fear.
I can't speak for anyone else, but I think the police are needed, but sometimes I think that when it comes to killing unarmed people, and our black men in particular, I think, they make it away with too much. Now, how do I feel about the police in general? My mom had the talk with my brothers. She also had the talk with her daughters. And I'm always a little nervous because You know, being pulled over by police, like Forrest Gump said, it's kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know who you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get that chocolate that you love, that chocolate that, you know, makes you feel good, gives you your ticket, and, you know, scurs you along your way, even though no one likes getting a ticket. Or that one that's just going to be bitter. Or you just don't, these days you just don't know how a situation is going to turn out. So I'm nervous. I keep my hands on the wheel 10 and 2. I rehearse everything I'm going to do before I do it. And I do everything I can to make sure, whoever that person is, to make sure they feel comfortable. You know, they know that my skin is not going to reach into the glove compartment and pull out a weapon and kill them. I feel nervous, and I pray, and I hope that that all the stuff that my parents taught me about encounters with the police, that nothing will go left.
It's completely backwards. For one, the fact that you have people who don't even understand our culture policing our culture, that makes absolutely no sense. So what you see, a black man standing on the corner, he must be doing something wrong. He's just standing there, he's not doing anything. As us being black, we know there's plenty of reasons for him to be there or what he's doing. But for you, it's something negative. So because of your perception, you're policing this all wrong. So you have people who don't know what they're doing. You have people who aren't really fit to be in the position that they're in. I mean, I've had a conversation with somebody who wanted to be a cop, and no more than a month they had the job. I'm like, you're telling me that you had a month worth of training and you're ready to go out here and police every single neighborhood in this area? I was like, what was the process? What was the psychological test like? What was the physical test like? Oh, we did a certain amount of push-ups. We ran a certain amount of miles. The test wasn't really that difficult. What would you do in this scenario? And they just gave me a badge and a gun, and I was already patrolling. And I'm like, you are supposed to protect me and fully understand the Constitution in order to protect me. And I mean, based off of what we see, many of these police don't have a clue what's in the Constitution. They don't have a clue how to handle dealing with different people. It's just completely backwards.